Let's find coterminal angles. So for this example 1, we want to find an angle with a positive measure and an angle with a negative measure that are coterminal with 125 degrees. So let's draw out our coordinate plane here and write in our angles like we had in the last video. And we're going to look at this. So 125 degrees is going to be a little past 90. So it doesn't need to be exact, but it should be about there. So that is going to be 125 degrees. Now, let's do the negative angle first, because we talked about last time that if I take this and I go clockwise, that's going to be negative, and it's going to line up with the same side right there, so it's coterminal. So I need to figure out what this pink one is. So if we think about it, if I take 125 degrees, so let's take that 125 degrees, and I minus my 360 degrees, the full circle. That's actually going to give me this negative measurement here. 125 minus this whole circle is going to give me this piece that's left. So if I subtract those in my calculator, I should get negative 235 degrees. There's our negative angle that's coterminal. Negative 235. Now, the other way we can think about this is if I go 125 degrees and then I go a full circle more, then I'm going to land up at that same blue line. So I could also do 125 plus 360 to end up at that angle again. So my positive one is going to be 125 plus a full circle, 360 degrees. And that's going to give me, wind up at this blue line again, 125 plus a full circle. So if you put that into your calculator, you should end up with 485 degrees. So that is a positive angle and a negative angle that are coterminal with this one. So let's try example number 2. And this is actually going to be the same process. Where to find a positive one, we take the angle given and we add 360. To find the negative one, we take the angle given and we subtract 360. So the angle given in this problem is negative 45. So the positive, we're going to add a full circle. The negative, we're going to subtract a full circle. And we can just type those into our calculator, and we should get 315 for our positive. If you add or subtract 360 and it's still positive or still negative, like it didn't change signs, then just keep adding or subtracting 360 until you get to where you want to be. And then this last one, negative 405 degrees. Okay, let's do one more on this video where we're going to do it with radians instead of degrees, but it's still going to be the same process, where for the positive one, we're going to take our angle and add a full circle. And for the negative one, we're going to take our angle and subtract a full circle. So here's the angle given in the problem. For the positive, we're going to add. For the negative, we're going to subtract. But this time, we're not going to add 360 because that's in degrees and we're talking radians. So if you remember from the first video, we said that 360 degrees, a full circle, is the same as 2 pi radians. That's a full circle. So in this case, we're adding and subtracting 2 pi because that's in radians, not degrees. So I need to add and subtract this, which does mean I'm going to need some common denominators. I need that 2 pi to be in 6. So all I'm going to do is do 2 times 6, which is 12. And if I'm unsure, I can check that. 12 divided by 6 is 2. So those are the same thing. I'm good there. And now we have a common denominator of 6. So 7 pi plus 12 pi is 19 pi, just combining like terms and my denominator. So there's my positive. 7 pi minus 12 pi is negative 5 pi. And there's my common denominator of 6. And there's my negative angle. So that is all for this video. After this video, you should be able to get started on your assignment. For this assignment, let me double check, make sure I'm telling you the right ones. You should do 4, 5, 12, and 13. And 12 and 13 are just like what we were just doing, where you have to find a positive and a negative angle. 4 and 5, you need to find an angle between 0 and 360. So you're just going to keep adding or subtracting 360 to these until you end up with one that lies between those angles. So that's it for your assignment. In the last video, we'll do our last 3 examples.